Hey, it's Mike. Thanks for tuning back in. So I feel like we do this every fall. The hobby is dying. People start putting out posts about the hobby is dying. But Dan the Card Man put out a really interesting one today. Not about the hobby dying, but flipping and investing dying. And I don't think that's dying either, but it did give me a lot to think about. And, you know, Dan, I don't watch all of his videos. I watch a fair number of them, and I think he does a really good job of balancing the truth with not being negative, because it is sometimes there is a lot of negativity in the truth. I don't think this video is going to go very long, but I just had some thoughts, and we'll see. First of all, on my newsletter today, I made a big mistake, and I got a great email from somebody. So what happened was I did a first to name all the cards on the 3 shelves behind me. And yes, there's 3 shelves. I showed a picture of all 3 of them. Wins the Mike Trout numbered card from the Home Run Challenge. And it was over in under 2 hours. It's not very easy, and I thought this is going to last a while. And so I'm still getting responses from people they haven't seen. I followed up immediately with an email saying, hey, somebody found it, somebody did it already. But some people aren't seeing that, unfortunately, and it wasn't a great setup. And next time, I got a great email from somebody, or somebody responded to a survey, a poll, saying that I should have taken all of the winning answers, the correct answers, and done a raffle with them. So that's what I'm going to do next time. I appreciate that email from that person. Great idea. So I think I did this very same video a year ago. Well, not the very same video, but a similar one where I talked about the hobby's not dying. It's the, first of all, there's a lull, there's a fall lull. As you know, as you're approaching Christmas and people are saving up money for gifts for family and friends and things like that happen in the fall. Baseball's done and basketball season's barely gotten going. I think that there's just this natural lull to the hobby at this point in time. And some of the higher channels are apparently, and I haven't heard this, but reportedly some of the higher up, investing channels are talking about lower views on their videos, which, yeah, I mean, for me, when I see 50, when you put out as a channel, one channel puts out 50 videos a year, shorts or whatever, with the title, I pulled a 1-of-1 Trevor Lawrence rookie card, and you've got 50 of those, it gets old. I don't want to see that anymore. It was interesting in 2020. It was interesting a little bit in 2021. And then you put out 25 videos a year, spending $30,000 at a card show, or 50 videos a year. I bought his entire table at a card show. It's the same thing every time. It gets old, it gets tiresome, and I don't watch those. I did. They were fun for a while. But it's just the same old thing gets old. What I think is interesting is stories. Stories about people and about specific cards that maybe people don't see all the time. But, if it's going to be the Trevor Lawrence or Mac Jones rookie card, why did I just pick Jacksonville Jaguars quarterbacks? I don't know. It gets old. And the last 5 years of cards for me it's kind of an untenable time. And this is going to lead into a response video to John Mangini's video on what would I do in the hobby if I were the hobby president. And I've given this a lot of thought, and I'm not sure where I am on that yet, but I am going to do one, I think. I just think the print runs and the number of parallels, and it just becomes far less interesting when everybody has virtually the same card. You've got a tiger print, I've got a, striped moonbat something or other. I don't know. I don't even know what that is, but I just made it up. It's probably a parallel, and you've never heard of it, but it's out there, I bet you. I don't know. It's a tough time to be an ultra-modern collector, and I like ultra-modern cards. I don't collect a lot of them, but I like them. I like chrome refractors and not much else. you kind of have to pick. You have to put your flag in the sand, or whatever the saying is. I'm only going to do this. I'm only going to collect this person. Because otherwise it gets to be too much. But there are stories out there to be had, to be told, and people are still very interested in these stories. And I think the best person out there that's telling these stories is Greg from Midlife Cards. And I texted Greg. He's a teacher. He's in school. He's being responsible, apparently. Or maybe he's not in school. It's Veterans Day. I didn't know until this morning that it was Veterans Day, because when I was younger, I think Veterans Day was always on a Tuesday, and I've never had Veterans Day off. And then I went to wake up my 14-year-old for school, and oops, it's Veterans Day. I didn't know. So maybe Greg's not in school. But anyway, happy Veterans Day. I texted Greg and asked him if his views are down. He didn't respond immediately. Shame on Greg. But I went to socialblade.com and looked, and it doesn't look like his views are down. If you are telling good stories, if you're building community, if you've built a strong audience, your views aren't down. I don't feel like my views are down. I haven't noticed it. I don't pay as much attention to it as I used to. My video yesterday has like 3,000 views at least already, which is pretty good. I feel like collector channels, if you're putting out content consistently and you're putting out a variety of content, not the same thing every time, people are going to watch it. People want a variety. They don't want to see you open a one of one. They don't want to see you open your mail where you've gotten a number to 5 Trevor. I don't even know. I'm trying to make up stupid names and I'm failing. It's Monday. Bear with me. I want to know what you think about this stuff. Put it in comments. Is investing dying? I think another part of it is it's harder to make money on ultra-modern cards today than it was 3 years ago, or 2 years ago, or even a year ago, because it's the buy-in cost is so much higher. To buy into opening packs or ripping, jeez, I can't even talk, breaks is insanely high. And so then you've got to turn around and try to flip those cards for a profit. And you have to do it really quickly because then the values go down right after. But I think that you can be a targeted dealer, dealing in certain things specifically, and do just fine. I have plenty of friends who are dealing cards and buying and selling and doing seemingly very well. So, I don't know. I do have a newsletter coming up. If you subscribe to my newsletter, junkwaxzero.com, I have a newsletter where I'm examining eBay sales. And I've talked to a few eBay sellers, including Chris Sewell, by the way, to get their perspective on how their stores are doing. And one eBay seller gave me the idea, and he sent me basically his books, his records of his eBay sales over the last, I don't remember how many months, 6 months or 9 months or something. And for some people it's down, some people it's up, some people it's steady. And I think that's to be expected. But there is a perception out there that things are way down and things are way harder. And I think that's true if you are just buying ultra-modern cards, ultra-modern collections, and just randomly paying for a big pack of cards. Not a pack, literally, but I don't know. I still see, I look at Facebook Marketplace occasionally, and it's, I'm getting out of the hobby, buy my collection, and it's, no cards are listed. You don't see any cards. It's just a big 5,000 count box of top loaders. Presumably there are cards in there, and it's priced at like $10,000. And they put in there, this is an investor lot, only $2 per card. But there's no way of knowing what they included in the box. It could be junk, it could be absolutely nothing. So I don't know where I stand on this other than to say stories People are interested in stories. I love stories. That's what I'm interested in. And when I hear a good story, I want to tell it. I want to share it. And so that's where I turn to my channel or to my newsletter. Community building is big. I'm hoping to have an announcement on a community, new community, that I'm going to be rolling out in the next month or so. And collecting is still big. Collectors aren't going away just because ultra modern has gotten too hard to flip and too hard to make a profit on. You're still here. You're still watching. Collecting is big and always will be, I think. And I think that I hope that these people who got into the hobby because it's fun and now find themselves priced out are being fed into vintage. That ultramodern is a feeder for vintage collecting, because that's kind of how I got started and how I ended up getting into vintage. So, again, I'm really curious for your thoughts. Let me know in comments. If you have any stories, I always want to hear them. Email me, thejunkwaxhero@gmail.com. I'm interested in people. I'm interested in card stories, things like that. Thanks very much for watching.